week. So dramatic, right? If you're Indiana, you're 1-0 in the league. So how would the team handle that success? That's one of the questions Rick Signetti wants to answer today. Henry Rutledge returning it for Charlotte out to about the 22-yard line, a return of 10 yards. Henry Rutledge is the motion man, and Ivy looking to throw. The whole thing gets blown up on first down, and A.B. Fisher, who Rhett just told us about, comes up to make a play after a pickup of 3 yards. Ivy, and that is incomplete, out of the reach of Omega Blake, and it's third down. Third down and 7. And Ivy's able to get it complete to Jacobus Mack, but shy of the line to gain.
Oh, guy, this defense does such a nice job of challenging the offensive line. The defensive line is spread out all over that defensive front. You really have to communicate up front. Quarterback Ivy had to get rid of the ball quickly, and the defense of Indiana said, no problem, we'll give you a nice little game, but you will not get to the sticks. And I stopped on their very first drive.
Michael O'Shaughnessy is the punter, kicking away to Miles Price. O'Shaughnessy had a 73-yarder last week. He's a former Big Tenner, 4 years at Ohio State and then at Michigan State last season. And he hangs this up for Price, who's been trying to get free. And he does that to start Indiana with very good starting field position. 307 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. The first Indiana quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns since Michael Penix.
What I love most is him on third down. 9 of 9 a week ago. He's 12 of his last 12 on money downs.
Tyson Lawton, part of a very deep running back room, and he gets the start and the first carry of the day. And that's going for 1 yard. And that's Miles Price with the first reception of the day, but it doesn't go anywhere. And it's a big third down coming up, Yogi. So great starting field position to start the game, Yogi. And now they got third and out, time to take advantage of it.
And I think it's 4 down territory. If you can just get half here, you're going to go for it.
Rourke steps up and throws complete to Miles Cross for a first down and a pickup of 12. And there's Cross again for about 3 yards. Anderson Kobe has come into the game, and he's going to make a catch in a big spot and a first down. They wanted to get him more opportunities. It's so hot today, rotating receivers, and he keeps going all the way down inside the 10. What a play, and a pickup of 24 yards, his second catch of the year.
Yeah, really athletic playmaker. They love him in the slot. Did a nice job in the spring. This is an RPO. Watch a little fake the handoff. See the eyes of quarterback Kurtis Rourke. He reads it the whole time. The linebacker getting sucked in on the fake. It's a nice job. Just watch the eyes. Beautiful. See the linebackers get sucked up. Throws it right behind him.
Rourke is perfect on this opening drive. Now he's going to give it. And jumping in for the touchdown, Tyson Lawton. And Indiana strikes first.
And it's because of this tight end, Zach Corton. He's been so influential in the run game. Watch him just pick up that defensive end. Nothing going there. Perfect block, kick out. Walk for a touchdown.
Made major difference. Well, a lot of success too. They didn't just come from James Madison. They came from winning. Rick Signetti went 22-9 there in 5 years. It's Quintero to kick it away, and a nice return for Henry Rutledge. They tried a trick play on the first break. At least we think it was. It didn't work on the first play of the game, so now Ivy's going to throw, and he throws complete to Sean Brown, a security blanket, and a first down, a pickup of 13.
Yeah, I think you want to move the quarterback Trexler Ivy a little bit outside the pocket today, just because of the physical and aggressive nature of this defensive front. It's when it's a clear picture. There's a little spot route, a little sit right there inside where the linebacker was. It's an easy pitch and catch from Ivy. And look, this is a veteran guy. He knows this system. He's been a pseudo coach, third string quarterback to start the season. Now it's his second drive of the game.
A couple of tight ends in the game now for Charlotte. And Cartavius Norton is the new running back. And it'll be Norton. And he gets pulled down after a short gain. C.J. West right in the middle of that defense. Ivy looking to set up the screen, and he throws it complete to Jake Clemens, the third tight end, and Indiana snuffs that out, a 2-yard loss. It's an Indiana defense that's third in the nation, Yogi. They're allowing just over 3 yards per play coming into today's game. Bryce Kennan, the tight end, in motion on 3rd and long, and that is behind and incomplete, broken up by Jamari Sharp, who we mentioned he's getting that start for D'Angelo Ponds today, and he made a big play.
Watch his right arm this whole time as he drives on the slant. You'll see it right here late into your picture. His left arm is kind of near that hip, not grabbing him. That right arm, that's perfect. That's perfect timing, guy. How you break up the ball. This guy making the most of a big opportunity for him today.
Price had a nice return his first time, and he's got some space. Price to the sideline, stays inbounds, and finally gets pushed out, and he's out near midfield. Justice Ellison is the new back to start this drive. And he'll get it. And step through a big hole and break a couple of tackles out into Charlotte territory, and a pickup of 17 yards.
This is a really nice job for Mike Shanahan. They shift, they motion, they start up in this bunch formation, and again, you follow this fullback right here, slash linebacker, tight end, Zach Horton, and he just leads the way, climbs up onto a linebacker, Reed Williford, and it's an easy run. They love this concept. That's the second time today.
Rourke throws quickly to Miles Cross. Here's Ellison again, another big hole, and he steps across for a first down. And Rourke taking his time, making his 37th career start today. On the move, and he'll just take the yards given to him. What does eye discipline mean, Yogi?
Yeah, so that's a great example right there. Number one, you understand what the coverage is, and then you're trying to manipulate defenders. So you have to be disciplined when you go on this previous snap. Watch him look all the way to his left. He's not forcing himself to go fast through any progression. He's allowing the play to unfold. And what I love about this, the younger version of this player probably tries to throw this football, but he goes, not worth the risk, understands the situation they're in. He has the discipline to trust his eyes and run to make it 2nd and short.
Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, told us there's 8 to 15 yards out there sometimes for him to go get, and they want him to go get him with his legs. And Ellison gets the first down to the 10-yard line, tackled by Ali. Here's Rourke keeping it, and he will get a couple of yards. And it's 2nd and goal.
You know, the best teams are efficient in the tight red zone, right? You saw it last night in the Illinois-Nebraska game. You'll see it here on this drive. This is when quarterbacks have to get the ball out. You referenced Tino Sinceri, their quarterback coach. He was a heck of a quarterback back in his time at Pitt, and now he's carrying that over under Coach Cignetti. And right now, it is all about timing. I'd keep an eye on Elijah Surratt at the top of the screen in the slot.
And Horton is in the slot at the bottom. Surratt came down in motion. Rourke is looking his way. Up to Surratt. Too high and incomplete. Rourke throws too high. Was looking over the middle of the end zone for Surratt. And now it's 4th down.
And to me, look, you could argue he missed, but as I'm playing quarterback from up here in the booth, that was a nice job of throwing it away, because if he tries to fit it in there, that might be a pick 6 going the other way. So much at quarterback is understanding what a high percentage decision is. Again, eye discipline, he goes, he wants to hit that little post route, but there is nothing there. Sees the safety drop right in there, and C.J. Burton, he's all over it. Airmail it, live for another down, try to get 3.
Nicholas Radicic for the 27-yard attempt. Out of the hold of James Evans and Mark Langston, the snapper. And it's perfect. Rutledge will let this fly, so out to the 25-yard line. Trexler Ivy hands it off to Hassan Wilson. And Yogi, they played some big games. They played North Carolina this year, had a 3-point game in the second half. They played Maryland tight last year. So they feel like they're on the way to making some statements as their season goes along.
Yeah, when you look at the teams that they're playing too, it's been a challenge for them. But I think the #1 thing for the head coach you see on the screen now, like he's got his own unique way, obviously. You see the cutoffs, you see just the way that he's operating on the sideline sometimes. But the way he operates with his team comes from the core flow. He is just pouring into these young men. He doesn't need to coach. He wants to coach. He wants to give back to the game that has given him so much. I think he's in a really unique position in the state of college football right now to lead Charlotte.
Hassan Wilson gets ridden down by Mikhail Kamaru, who played at Pitt for Joe Moore and Jackie Sherrill, then went to Duke. His team right now on a 3rd down, and they convert for the first time today. That's Henry Rutledge out to the 45 and a big pickup of 14. Felt like the offense needed that, Yogi.
Yeah, they go right back to the well in the screen game. That's an area when you study Indiana, the teams have had success against them. This is all about patience from your quarterback. Does he have the patience to allow the rush to come? Blitz comes from the linebacker position. He just backpedals. Perfect location to his back, and so much today is about execution and belief. And what Biff Poggi just continues to instill, as Rhett eloquently said, is just belief in this team. And you're right, guy, they get a 1st down, and when you're on the road against a team that's had a ton of success, you just got to keep stacking those small wins.
Cartavius Norton dancing for a yard. Mike Miller, the offensive coordinator in his 2nd year, but he was last 4 years before that at Maryland with Mike Loxley. Here's a nice run for C.J. Stokes, and that's a good chunk to bring up 3rd down very short.
Yeah, so the idea is, like, when you're trying to get a ton of penetration like this defensive line is from Indiana, you can get quick hitting runs. Watch the defensive line right here on this side of the center. They're going to get upfield real quick, but boom, all of a sudden the ball's right past them. Same thing on this snap right here, guy. And when the offensive line feels as though they can get a little bit of movement because of the speed of the defensive front, puts a lot of pressure on the linebackers in this Indiana defense, and the linebackers are the element of this defense that has to fill so much based on the aggressive nature of that front.
C.J. Stokes has gotten a few carries. This time they fake it to him to give to Henry Rutledge, and Rutledge turns the corner with space, and Rutledge is all the way down inside the 10 before he's finally dragged to the turf after a pickup of 32.
Big assist to Mitchell Mays on the offensive line. You'll see him inside. Watch him pull and watch the linebackers follow him. They follow 77 thinking he's going to guide him to the ball, and all of a sudden it comes around the other side. Nice job of this offense. Watch everybody flows to their right defensively. Perfect execution. Mike Miller referenced this is all about execution, excitement here at the end of one. Couple positive plays in a row for the Charlotte offense and Coach Poggi.
Biff Poggi's group trying to weather an early storm from Indiana, and they're poised to do it after the first 15 minutes. As we start the 2nd quarter, Charlotte is lining up for the 8th play of this drive. They've really struggled to score touchdowns in the red zone this season. But one here feels like it may change the game a little bit. Stokes going nowhere. He gets dragged down by Isaiah Jones.
Keep an eye on C.J. West right here, right over the ball.
Back to Stokes, and he gets ripped down again.
Here's an example at the top of the screen. You'll watch Carr. He can start wide. You see how he cuts inside? Real great physicality against that tight end, Kennan, pushing him back into the pocket. And that's the freedom and flexibility that this defense under Brian Haynes has, which allows the linebackers to fill.
3rd down and goal. Ivy under pressure, and he throws complete. Touchdown, Charlotte.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Also remember, Ivy's the 3rd quarterback, so not much depth behind him. He's going to hand it off here. Stokes near the goal line. He gets hit, and he is down. One official says touchdown. So touchdown, Charlotte, but there's going to be a discussion here because the side judge is saying he's down at the 1.
Ruling on the field, the touchdown.
This is a really nice job by the entire offense and execution. You'll see the motion right there. Watch the impact he has on Carr at the end of the line of scrimmage. He just keeps running right through. There's Carr's nowhere to be found. He went with the wide receiver. A huge lane. You could drive a truck right through. And then just the finish leg drive. Just the effort, the will, ball across before elbow down.
Already over their season average rushing total. And that goes back to last week when they had that wild comeback at home against Gardner-Webb. Kurtis Rourke with Justice Ellison getting the handoff on the first play of the game for play of the drive for no gain. It's definitely a Charlotte team too, Yogi, that's been tested already this season. Ellison with the stiff arm to get away from C.J. Burton, and he picks up 6 yards after the contact. The experience of Rourke. Pressure picked up. Rourke lost it. Miles Price, and he's got it.
He's just such a vet. He's such a vet. You saw him clap once, fake a clap, fake another clap, understand they're actually going to come, and then here comes the pressure interior from those linebackers. He knows it the whole time. He knows how much time he has, and then he finds his receiver for another explosive play down the sideline to Price.
37 yards on the pickup, and that was another third down conversion. Here comes pressure again, picked up again, another shot. Surratt's got it. What an adjustment, and Indiana's right back in the red zone. And Indiana gets down to the 3-yard line quickly here to set up. Handoff. Kaylon Black, and he jumps in for a touchdown. There is a flag on the play, and Black looks a little deflated.
During the run, holding, offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty, first down.
They transfer from James Madison, and they flip it around to Price. Horton blocking in front, and Price is going to lose yards, or maybe get back to the line of scrimmage.
All right, let's go back a couple plays just to showcase this throw again. You see Surratt, nice job just stacking the defender, but it's the back shoulder throw and the ball location guy. You want to give him a chance. You want to throw it not on the sideline, but give it about 1.5 yards from the sideline so the wideout can open up his hips, make that play. And this is something they work every day, right? This is pat and go. This is individual drill. That was clinic worthy.
Pick up 4 yards on the play. Back to Black. And Black gets hit immediately by Prince Wallace Bima. There's Ellison in motion. Rourke looks away. Rourke under pressure, trying to get it to Horton, who was interfered with. And that's going to get Indiana a fresh set of downs.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball was placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
This is so hard. Watch McGee, number 2, just trying to work his way through. Oh, look at all that. Look at that chaos inside. I mean, it's hard to kind of work your way through.
So fresh set of downs. Here's Ellison. And he is in. Touchdown Hoosiers.
Watch this whole offensive front right here on the beginning of this snap. The physicality, the puller again from a wideout. Even Rourke tries to get involved a little bit. It just forced the defense to hesitate just a hair. The defensive end, Ekwonu, number 10, was trying to crash down, didn't know if the receiver's coming out the back door. Touchdown.
Radicic. And he's got it. Charlotte, after the Indiana touchdown, back to work on the ground. So this is a change of, I don't want to say philosophy, Yogi, but this team rushes for under 70 yards a game, and they're running it right now.
It's actually on point with their philosophy. This is what they wanted to do from the moment Biv Poggi got this job. Think of his background in high school football, what they did in Michigan. They want to be a physical out. You look at the offensive line they have. There's transfers from UMass, A&M, Clemson. I mean, a lot of players that want to be physical up front haven't been able to do that early on this year. 2 quarterback injuries later, they're finding some success running the football with Ivy.
A couple of tight ends in the game. And they'll run it again with Wilson. And Wilson will make it a 3rd down and a long 2. Ivy, and that's caught by Sean Brown, and that's a 1st down. He took a huge hit from Jalen Walker and held on.
Targeting was not openly adored when it became a rule in college football, but look at it now. Look at how players, defensive players, understand the rules. They make plays. It's a clean hit.
You think the players have adjusted?
No doubt, at every level.
Ivy on the move, and that is caught by J. Iris Mack. And he's got a 1st down after getting a little help from Omega Blake with the downfield block. Pick up a 12. Trexler Ivy from Wake Forest, North Carolina. On the road and looking calm, and he short hops that to Omega Blake under pressure, and it's 2nd down. Ivy steps up under pressure, and he gets rid of it, and he throws complete to J. Iris Mack. 19 yards, 2 defenders bearing down on him, and Ivy made the play. Landino's lined up against the right tackle here, and Ivy sets up a screen, and this was blown up. He was looking for Weber. Here's Norton. Cartavius Norton breaks a tackle, and Jones eventually gets on his back to slow him down, but a pick up a 6. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Charlotte has converted 4 straight 3rd downs.
You know, watch Norton on this run. So much is about staying square. You can see him right there. Watch his shoulders this entire run. Because he stays square, he can beat Fisher, who's playing linebacker, when he cuts it back. A lot of times running backs, you see him kind of choosing which way they want to go. If you stay square, you can read the backside of your offensive lineman and make a quick cut.
Empty on 3rd down. Ivy down the middle, caught by Isaiah Myers. Touchdown 49ers. 25-yard connection.
How about this? The defensive lineman is going to flash real quickly in front of Ivy's face, and he's going to know it's coming. Here comes a looper, no problem. Sees it the whole time. He's playing with confidence. This is a great angle, guy. Watch. Here comes pressure on the looper, no problem. Dealing for a tug to Myers.
Ivy 2 of 2 on 3rd down on that drive. And now within 3. Solomon Van Horst lets that go. Rourke throws, and that's complete to Sam West. The first catch of his career, the true freshman from the state. And a big moment for him. Another explosive play for this Indiana passing game.
Well, the motion takes all of the defenders of Charlotte. Beautiful job here. You'll see it just at the bottom of the screen. He's just running a simple wheel route. No defender there, guy. Easy pitch and catch to the youngster.
37 yards for him. That's the 4th completion of over 20 yards for Indiana in this 1st half. Rourke will hand it off. This is Lawton, and he gets ridden out of bounds. And a flag comes in late. Mordecai McDaniel was the man who made the tackle. We'll check on this penalty.
Personal foul. Defense, number 32, face mask. 15-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Yeah, guys, looking at this Indiana offense, you know, it does look a little bit different than what this staff ran at James Madison. One of the reasons for that, especially in the run game, is the presence of Bob Bostad, the offensive line coach and run game coordinator. He was the only holdover from the previous staff. It has really simplified things in the run game, allowing this offensive line to block any front with a minimal number of adjustments.
This is Keyshawn Williams on the quick pass. And That's a pickup of 4 yards. Knocking on the door again on 2nd down and 5. And this is long, and he gets tripped up by Demon Clowney. What does it say, Yogi, about Kurt Signetti? He comes over, you know, half the staff comes from JMU with him, right? And one of the big changes they make from the only holdover coach from the previous staff here at Indiana.
Well, I think he's always had a plan, right? When you talk to him, you talk to the athletic director, to anybody that was on his staff at JMU, they had a vision for this thing, what this offense would be. He knew the success that the offensive line had here, wanted to keep somebody who had an understanding of what this roster was like. Really good decision by him in that regard.
3rd down. Rourke steps up. Rourke has the 1st down and the touchdown.
He sees the linebackers drop all the way to the goal line, so it's a no-brainer. Nothing's there in the pass game. And then he's about to slide right there. He's thinking, oh, do I get down? No, I got a shot to score here. Touchdown from the QB. Watch these linebackers just drop right to the goal line. He's saying, all right, there's nothing to throw the ball to, so I'm just going to tuck it and run.
Radicic flags before the point after.
Offside with contact. Defense number 92. After distance, we'll have a try.
2 big runs. Yogi Rourke has run for 21 yards in this game. Short kick, and it's picked up. And Wilson with a short return out to about the 22-yard line. Meanwhile, Charlotte has figured it out on offense on their last 2 drives after 2 punts to start the game. Back-to-back touchdown drives. You see Trexler Ivy's numbers there, 8 of 12. But here's Wilson getting ripped down by Mikhail Kamara. Well, what did Brian Haynes, the defensive coordinator, tell us? He wants a vertically charged style of defense. And Kamara might be the embodiment of it.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. He just comes right down the chute, really untouched into the backfield.
3rd down. This is where Charlotte's been good lately, and this time it's incomplete. So Miles Price back deep. He's had a couple of good returns already today. O'Shaughnessy puts this out of bounds near midfield. So Indiana's going to have a couple of timeouts. Half the field and 2 timeouts here under the 2-minute timeout. And there's Surratt on 1st down with a pickup of 7. Rourke in no rush, hands it off to Ellison, and he gets stopped initially and then powers forward for the 1st down. That'll move the chains.
There are groove calls here in a 2-minute drill.
Rourke thought about loading up, dumps it down, batted up in the air, and it's incomplete. Big ball from Charlie Jackson. Rourke steps away from pressure, and he steps up and looks for a place to go down past the chains, and he's got another 1st.
So look, a huge part of being tough as a quarterback is not just standing in the pocket, but knowing the situation and having the toughness to say, yeah, normally I'd slide here, but I know where the sticks are. And when you're in a 2-minute offense, under 2 minutes in college football, you move the sticks, the clock stops. Nice job at QB1 falling forward instead of sliding.
He's averaging 8 yards a carry in this game on 4 carries. Rourke, clean pocket, steps up. There's Omar Cooper, and he can't quite bring it down. Good coverage that time by Trevon Booker. I'll give it to Long. Head of steam, spins forward, stays on his feet, and gets a 1st down.
Really masterful job there by Kurtis Rourke.
Now Rourke wants to throw, and he lofts it. And he's got it. Keyshawn Williams, a touchdown machine. 19 yards on the score. How about this, Yogi? Keyshawn Williams now 5 catches this year, 3 touchdowns. Good kick from Warren. And Rutledge trying to make a play. And Henry Rutledge gets to the edge, and he almost breaks it. And Quinn Warren comes up to make the tackle.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 10. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
So Charlotte's going to head to the locker room. down 31-14.
The explosive plays that have made him particularly irritated. They were an issue coming in. 4 more through the air here today against Indiana. He says the buck stops with him and these coaches on getting these players to stem that tide here in the second half.
And those explosives to 4 different receivers of over 20 yards. Rourke is going to throw, and there is Surratt. Elijah Surratt, a pickup of 11 yards. Tyson Lawton is the back out of the backfield, and that's on a rope again to Miles Cross, and a pickup of 9 yards. Kurt Signetti told us this week when we talked to him yesterday, and he thought his team was ready for this game. There's Lawton with a first down run out to midfield, and they are closing in on an Indiana 4-game scoring record. Their next score will make them the highest scoring Indiana team in a 4-game stretch ever. Oh, right on the money to Miles Price. Price cuts it back, and he just loses his footing. Ali might have prevented a touchdown, but another explosive, a pickup at 37.
And they do it with emotion. It's really impressive from Price. You'll see him kind of motion his way throughout this route. He got to his spot, then he got inside the defensive player, and Miles Price just continues to make plays. Look at him just tippy-toeing down the sideline. Great feel for not only the route, but where he is on the field.
There's a flag way back
Sportsmanlike
behind
conduct. Head coach, Charlotte. This is his first that can lead toward disqualification.
You get 2 before disqualification. Indiana taking the ball first here and giving it to Lawton, who reaches in for the touchdown. His second of the day.
That's a touchdown for Lawton.
I'm looking at his right elbow, Yogi. Radicic for the point after. Second kick of the day for Quinn Warren, who's replaced Alejandro Quintero on kickoff duty. And Rutledge, who nearly broke one his last time, will bring this out. And this gets stonewalled at the 18-yard line. DJ Warnell with the stick.
Transfer UCLA to Arizona. Take a listen.
A strong first half. You heard what Red told us, head coach Biff Poggi said about how impressed he was with Ivy. Amari Farrell coming up to meet Norton, but a pickup of about 9 yards, Red. Second down and short. They'll go back to Norton, and Norton with another big gainer. A couple of chunk runs for him, 9 yards and then 11 yards on that one.
They want to get back in this ball game. They got to find a touchdown on this drive. I'd continue to be going to those creative counter-type runs where you can push the interior of the D-line.
It's a Charlotte team that trailed 20-3 in the 4th quarter last week. Came back to beat Gardner-Webb 27-26. Trexler Ivy hands it off again. And Norton bounces through a big hole again. And Norton just delivering body blows. A 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, almost a touchdown, too, if it wasn't for D'Angelo Pons. Remember, he had to sit out the first half due to targeting penalty. He comes off the edge. Watch him retrace. It's his fingertips that stop this from being a huge explosive play. Might have gone to the house.
Pons, a freshman All-American at JMU last year, replaced in the first half by Jamari Sharp after that second half targeting last week against UCLA. 9 yards, 11 yards, 12 yards. That's been the last 3 carries. Now it's Hassan Wilson, and he picks up 4 on first down. Back to Norton. Steps out of a tackle. Steps out of another. And he's got a first down. They've run it all 5 plays on this drive. Would you throw it?
I wouldn't. Keep going back to the left.
Don't mess with Happy. Another handoff. Wilson. And he gets one.
38 on the carry. Wilson.
Take a look at the previous play and watch star linebacker Aiden Fisher see him right there, number 4. So, hope he's all right. Came out of the ball game. Sure, we'll learn a little bit more here. But he is the catalyst. He was driving. His leg got hit as he kind of got whipped to the ground.
So the Big Ten's leading tackler off the field, and that shot is out of bounds for Sean Brown. Pressure was coming from Mikhail Kamara and Trexler Ivy, and now it's 3rd down and 9.
So this is the part, if you want to get back in this ball game, as we referenced earlier, you got to find a way to score points here. I think a touchdown, and you're going to have to throw the football, right? They did it a week ago in their big comeback win against Gardner-Webb. The guy who was the catalyst there, a big part of it was Sean Brown and also Jairus Mack. Can they find them the rock, right? They got this touch chart guy before every game, but they thought, we want to feed this specific player. I'd keep an eye on those wideouts.
Good to see Fisher back in, because Charlotte's been really good on 3rd down today. Ivy with time, throws complete to the tight end. It's caught by Bryce Kennett. This is going to be 4th and about a yard in 4-down territory.
Oh, 1,000%. I think this game is 4-down territory.
Cartavius Norton, who has been a chunk play monster on this drive, is the back. Charlotte's 5 of 10 on 4th down this year. And Norton gets blown up and then steps away. And the 3rd man gets there and brings him down. Jalen Walker blew the play up. Norton almost survived it, but the pursuit came to finish him off.
Sean Asbury, the safety, is the one that finishes them off.
This team is knocking on the door of the top 25. They're inside the top 35 in the AP this week after beating UCLA last Saturday. So after the turnover on downs, the stop by the defense, back to the ground for Kaylon Black, who had a couple of first half carries, and he gets 5. Back to the ground at Black. And he's got a first down. 3 straight wins by 20 points. If they do it again today, it'll be just the 2nd time in 100 years. And the first time since 1990 that they've done it in 4 straight. Omar Cooper with a great catch, and that's a first down to move the chains to pick up of 11. Elijah Green with his first carry of the day, and that's a pickup of 4. And what seems like very quickly, it's clear that the things that Kurt Signetti says have quite a bit of substance behind them.
Well, no question. And I think on the outside, it looks like arrogance, right? But on the inside, it is a fervent belief in the blueprint. And that's what athletic director Scott Dolson was so attracted to with Signetti, is that he has carried through everything that they talked about in their interview. And as Scott Dolson said, even more delivering on what he had promised for this team. They left their first interview, and Scott Dolson said, you really think you can win here? He's like, if I have average resources, we can win at Indiana.
Kaylon Black again, feeding him. Black breaks through. He dives. Is he in? Yes. Touchdown, Hoosiers.
Kaylon Black, and this group has done that. Let's see if he gets in here right at the end. Reaches for the pylon.
Once you hit the pylon, you get the goal line around the globe, as you say, right? The goal line extended. And he got it. You saw it on the first look. Good eye.
Lincoln Riley was the only one that was really in this new transfer portal era, and it wasn't what it is now. And I just love the ideology of Kurt Signetti, bringing in new faces, new players to this program and their backgrounds.
Well, a lot like Lincoln Riley, when we talk to SC, it's about guys that fit here. Indiana's got a good fit right now.
Ball start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Cartavius Norton, who ran it effectively on the first drive of the half, gets about 10 yards back to bring up 2nd down and manageable. Third down at 6. Here comes pressure. Then they back out, and it's nearly Jalen Walker. Miles Price is going to try and return this, but he gets swallowed up. Justice Ellison out across the 40 and pick up a 17. So that's the coaching continuity with Curt Cignetti, and it included at the bottom strength and conditioning, right? Derek Owings talking to Tino Sunseri, the quarterback coach on the field before the game. He said that's as critical as anything, right? Yogi, you've been in programs, you've coached. The strength and conditioning coach sometimes runs the program in points of the year.
Yeah, he's got to echo the voice of the man on your screen right there, and Curt Cignetti, and then also train in a specific way to the style of play on both sides of the ball. So both coordinators, head coach, strength and conditioning, all on the same page.
Taven Jackson has come into the game at quarterback, replacing Kurtis Rourke. First opportunity for the sophomore transfer from Tennessee. With time, but he steps out. And gets back around the line of scrimmage. Jackson under pressure, and he gets sacked by Donovan Spellman. Now that's a loss of 8. Jackson under pressure, and he gets sacked by Donovan Spellman. Now that's a loss of 8. And that is how the third quarter will end.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Kalon Black is the running back. Jackson, they bring pressure and he beats it. There's Miles Cross for the first down. Here's Black, cuts it back. A flag comes in behind the play.
Holding. Offense, number 45. 10-yard penalty, first down.
2 penalties today after 14 last week. Here's Black. He bursts out of the backfield, and then he's brought down after a short gain. Pick up a 4. With Indiana feeling good at 4-0. Now Jackson on course, end zone, and it's undercut by Ali. Omar Cooper got free. Now on 3rd and 15, pressure, and he keeps his cool. Gets it to Williams, who cuts it back. And Keyshawn Williams gets very near the line to gain. This will bring up 4th down and about 1. Already 1 4th down conversion on this drive. Now they get it to Elijah Green, who breaks through. And Indiana breaks the 50-point mark today.
And keep an eye on the end defender on the line of scrimmage and watch what happens. He doesn't know. Is Jackson going to keep it? Is the back have it? And all of a sudden, you're nowhere. You're right in the middle there. You're caught. Which way do I go? And running back says, I'm just going to go all the way to the end zone. Elijah Green with a tug.
It's 4th of the year. And now Radicic on for the point after. Warren with a short kick. And Charlotte will have some of its best starting field position of the day at the 35. Indiana says they have it. Let's check on this. The starters mostly have come off. The takeaway and the recovery. Bryson Bonds showing it as he came out. Tyreek Tucker on the bottom of this pile.
Just runs into his own guy. I mean, that's how the ball goes out.
Jackson taking a shot. What a catch, nearly. And Donovan McCulley had it broken up by the earth.
Such depth at this receiver position. I hope he finds a way to work his way into this rotation because his skill set is unique.
Kobe Martin with that carry and pickup of 3. Kobe Martin still at the game at running back, getting his opportunity with Taven Jackson, QB2, handing it off. Jackson, pressure, cuts it loose. McCauley, he can't get to it. He blows this play up for a moment, and then coming in to make the tackle.
Everybody wants to keep showing up in practice. So whether that's a freshman on the defensive line making plays, this secondary making plays like they did there.
Right, a blueprint of consistent winning. He's the example of paying that cost, and that cost is high if you're trying to find consistent success. But Aiden Fisher is a shining example of that. And he's got some real pro influences too. Right, he watches Luke Kuechly in terms of his preparation methods, tries to emulate those. He was a big fan of London Fletcher growing up as a Commanders fan. So he's doing all the right things here, guys.
Yeah, he told us he watches Luke Kuechly, not just Luke Kuechly film.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Valuable piece of this defense. This is not just a guy who made an immediate impact here. We said it coming in. He was the Big Ten's leading tackler coming into play today. So, you know, he's looking forward to getting fully into conference play next week when Maryland comes to town. Trexler Ivy gets that to Henry Rutledge, and a pickup of about 6. And Trexler Ivy showed a little something today too, as he nearly throws a pick there. Indiana takes over with Taven Jackson, handing it off to Kobe Martin. As we're now under 2 minutes, and Elijah Green takes the handoff and gets a first down. So the question is, how good is this Indiana team? Yeah, their next close game will be their first close game of the year, right?
Well, Western Illinois, we know they're challenged this year. They're not that good. How good are we? And then you hear that from your coach with all of his experience winning. They walked out, at least it looked like when they ran into the tunnel in LA last week, saying, yeah, we believe this is a grounded confidence, not one that is just built on social media.
The most explosive scoring offense through 4 games. And right there, that's Curt Cignetti, the first Indiana coach to ever start his Indiana tenure 4-0.